everybody, thanks for joining me. My name is Susan Timchak. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'd like to welcome you here. Today what I wanted to share with you is one of these fun cards that I did at my most recent For Men and Boys class last Friday. And this is using a really cool stamp set. It's called Country Livin', and I really like it a lot. I really love this truck. I haven't done too much with the cowboy boots or the guitar, so that's on my list to play around with. But I want to share with you a fun background technique that I did on this card. I had seen it on, another website about doing this faux wood background technique, and I thought it was a lot of fun and something I can do using my Stampin' Up! Supplies. So, so let's get started, shall we? Let me put that aside. First thing I want to do is create this background with these. These are ones I already had done using a either a scoring tool, simply scoring, or you can even use a paper cutter if it has a scoring blade on it. So let me show you how easy that is to do. All right, let me just make sure this is in, okay, that you guys can see it. All right, so what I have here is a piece of cardstock that is basically 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to do this long ways. And what I want to do is I want to score every 1/2 inch. So on my paper cutter, when I get started, I like to use these numbers that are over here on the right. Just makes it a little easier. So I'm going to put the paper into the paper cutter. Now Stampin' Up! What they have done with our paper cutter is we have 2 blades on here. The light one is a scoring blade and the dark one is the cutting blade. So I don't make a mistake, I'm going to move that cutting blade right out of the way. So I'm going to line this up at the 1/2 mark, and I'm going to lightly score. I'm going to move over to 1 inch. We're doing every 1/2 inch and score. And here comes Dory to join us. Let me make some room for her back there. All right, I'm going to flip it around now, just because now it's a little bit easier to work with. So I'm going to line it up at the 1 1/2. Dory, you can't go up there, honey buns. Yeah. Okay. At the 1 1/2, and I'm going to score, sliding over to the 2, score, 2 1/2, score, 3, score, and 3 1/2, and score. Okay, so that is going to make the lines. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of paper to work on. So I'm not sure if that's showing up or not, but we'll go ahead and get started with the technique. Now what I'm using here today is Stampin' Up! Inks, and these are actually called Stampin' Spots. And if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you receive these little ink spots in your Paper Pumpkin kit each month. Sometimes you'll get 1, sometimes 2, and they never repeat over a year's time. So I like to gather these together, and I like to use these on this technique because it just makes it a little bit more manageable for doing this. So let me just line up the colors I'm going to be doing. So the colors I'm using on here is Soft Suede, Cajun Craze, Early Espresso, and Whisper White. Now Whisper White is a craft ink, and I do believe when the new catalog comes out that is going to be discontinued. So if you have that, or you don't have it, if you have the ink pad, you might want to check on getting the refill for it before it's gone. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the ink pad, and the technique is actually called direct to paper. So we're just going to go right over our cardstock. I'm just going lightly, just holding it lightly. And you could add as little or as much as you like. Okay, I'm going to go ahead with the next color, the Cajun Craze. I'm going to add a little bit of a reddish tone. Now you can do a lot of different tones with this. You can do like a beach tone where it's like the blue, grays, and whites. They could kind of make it look like the beach woodwork that you see on all the at all the resorts and places like that. Okay, so this is looking a little dark. So the great thing is you can do is go ahead in. I'm going to go back to the lighter color. And I'm going to add a little bit of more of that. I'm going to turn it around this way so I can get the whole thing. And every time you do this, you're going to end up with a different color. Now this is the white, and this is going to kind of take away some of that darkness. Just like that. You're just basically dragging that over. Okay. So there you have the background technique, which it is a faux wood. Now that white is going to take a little bit longer to dry. So we're going to go ahead and put that to the side. All right, so the next part of this card is going to be stamping our truck. I thought I had another piece here. This is the piece, yep. Okay, so the color I'm using to move this out of the way. This is a piece of very vanilla cardstock, and the ink pad that I'm using is the Stampin' Up! Archival Basic Black ink pad. So I have my truck mounted on my acrylic block, and I'm just going to ink this up. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp my truck. And there we go. There's our truck. Okay, well, you always want to make sure that this is dry before you continue on. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull out one that I had already inked up before you all came. So what I want to do is I want to color in this truck, and what I'm using is our watercolor pencils. I love these. I'm using also an aqua painter, which this turns and opens up, and you fill it with tap water, and we're going to use this as a sort of paintbrush. So I'm going to start from the bottom, and I'm using the Old Olive, and I'm just going to scribble. You don't really, and sorry if the camera's wiggling, I see it wiggling with my scribbles. You don't really have to worry about making it too perfect, because the best part is with the watercolor aqua paint, with the aqua painter rather, that helps it, you know, make it a lot easier to work with. So I'm going to go with a light blue, kind of give a little bit of tone, and you'll see here I'm coloring in with that. And my kitties are really running around out there. They get through, I don't know if you're cat people or not, but if you do have cats, you know what I'm talking about. They get through these modes where they just run. I don't know. It's evening here, and I guess they just kind of, yeah, I guess all day long they rest, and then all night long they like to run. All right, so I'm going to add a little brown here, because on the back of here it is a like a wood pieces, like you see a lot of times with old trucks. You know, they add some pieces of wood there so that whatever they put in their truck, it doesn't run out. So I'm just kind of highlighting, going over the truck, outlining. Now Stampin' Up! Does a lot of the work for us. They do little shadings here and there, and that actually helps, because then it kind of gives you an idea where you want to put a little bit more color, and you know, it helps a lot with the coloring technique. Now what I always forget is on the back here there's a little tire. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of light coloring there. Alright, so you're thinking, wow, that doesn't really look like much. But here's our aqua painter. I'm just going to kind of rub it off a little bit on my hand. And I'm going to make this truck come to life. Now when you notice there's not a whole lot of water coming out, you just gently give a little squeeze to your aqua painter, and a little bit more will come out. I want to change color. Normally you'd have a paper towel, but as many of you know, I never come prepared with everything I need, so my hand will work just fine. I'm just going to color in. I'm going to go here with the black tires. Look how that pulls that black. You really thought, you know, that there wasn't a whole lot of color there, but there really was. All right, let's go over this wood. And this makes you look like an artist, even if you're not. I really love it. I love the watercolor. And you don't want to use too much. I mean, we are using a piece of regular cardstock. So if you use too much water, sometimes not only will it run, but it also will really warp your paper. So when you're just using a plain paper like this, you do kind of want to be a little bit careful not to use too much water. All right, I think we look pretty good. Let me cap this off, close this up. Now here's one I did earlier. You could see it did, warp a little bit, which is fine. That's okay. So to put the rest of the card together, I have some crumb cake, which is my card base. Let me get this out of the envelope. Really, that was the hardest thing, is to get that out of the envelope. And I have it scored 8.5 by 11. I have it scored, cut in half. So that'll be our card base. Now this is going to be our wood background. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of our multi-purpose glue. Little goes a long way. And I have to keep telling myself that, because I tend to add a little bit too much sometimes. I have a little glue snot on my finger there. That's not good. All right, we're going to layer this on here. Just like that. And I'm going to add some glue on the back of here. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of but go a little bit off center. Now it is still a little bit damp. So just so you know, it doesn't, it's watercolor, so it kind of takes a little bit longer to dry. And there we go. There it is, quick and simple. A fun faux wood background. Let me show you one of the other ones I did. Is right here. I did a little red truck. And then this one here, I did a lot less. I didn't actually even finish coloring the truck yet. I was still working on that one, but you can see the red tone where you can even go a little bit lighter. So there you have it, a faux wood background, just using some of the supplies and things that you already have at hand. And it's a lot of fun, and it's easy to do. So thanks for joining me. I'm trying to find where my little sign is here with my blog and my demonstrator website. So thanks for joining me. I hope you give this a try, and if you do, please be sure to share it and let me know how it works out for you if you have any questions. I hope you have a super stampin' night. I'll see you all again real soon. Bye for now.